What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be featuring the brand new Method Minnow mold from Do It Molds. This mold is a nice little compact minnow style bait. I think it's going to be great on the forward facing sonar stuff, drop shot, little soft plastic jerk bait if you want to. I think you can do a lot of different things. Makes a good laminate. I've played around with it a little bit. So we're gonna be making a laminate in today's video. This is a brand new mold that Do It Molds launched at ICAST back in July, and it is available now. So if you go over to the website through my affiliate link that is down in the description of today's video, it'll take you over to their website, search Method Minnow, and you will find it and you'll be able to pick it up, and they'll know that I sent you over to the website. So it's a win-win for everybody. The laminate that we're gonna be making in today's video is one of my favorites. It is gonna be a version of like a sexy shad kind of a color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have like a baby blue top with a clearish bottom with some gold or chartreuse flake in there. Gonna add some salt so it's not completely translucent. That way the salt kind of gives a little bit of a white hue without putting any color in there. It makes a pretty good little laminate and a nice looking shad imitation. So what we have right here is the basic components that we need to get going. We're gonna have to heat up both those cups of plastisol, and then we'll add in the 015 black flake and then the 040 chartreuse glitter. We are gonna add colorant obviously, and I'll go through the different colors that I'm gonna use to make this specific bait as we put these colors together. All right, so our plastisol is nice and clear. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of chartreuse flake into the bottom side. And then we're gonna add just a tiny bit of black flake into the top side. I don't want a ton of flake in there. I just want it to give it a little bit of a pop and contrast between the two sides. I don't want a lot of flake. And that actually might be more than I really wanted, but it's not gonna ruin anything. When you're trying to do just a tiny little bit of flake, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes because you're so used to, not having to worry about it too much, that when you want just a hair of flake, you end up adding a little bit too much. That looks a little bit better. That looks closer to what I'm wanting, I think. It's hard to tell because I got some on the knife here, but we'll know once we pour these baits, but it's not gonna ruin the bait, that's for sure. And this is gonna be the part of the process where we have to be very, very careful. I'm gonna start off with X2 colorant in the blue, and I'm gonna do literally one drop because I do not want this to be very dark. I want there to be a contrast, but I do not want a lot of color, and the X2 goes a long way. We will add another color here in a second, but I just want this to kind of get a blue base going. And then I'm gonna add like a smoke blue to kind of give it a little bit more of a dark hue, but still be translucent. But yeah, that's pretty close to what I'm wanting. Hopefully it's coming through on camera. On the knife itself, it's still very, very translucent, very, very slight blue in there. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add this smoke blue. This is a pretty translucent blue, so adding that amount shouldn't do too much. It should just darken it a hair. One thing that we're doing is, since we're trying to go with like a baby blue type color, we can always add just a little bit of white to kind of tone down that blue. And on this side, I'm just gonna stir just to kind of keep everything nice and even throughout this cup. I think we might just go with that and just see how it goes. It might be too translucent on this top side, but I'm liking what I'm looking at on the top of the cup. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a little bit of salt and add it into the bottom. Not very much, just that little bit. Hopefully it's gonna whiten everything up. Normally I stir as I'm putting that salt in, but because I had one hand trying to stay out of camera view, I wasn't able to do that. It looks awfully yellow in the cup, but that's just because all that gold is refracting inside the cup. But I think that salt should, one, it's gonna keel that bait a little bit too, and it's gonna give it a little bit of a white color because that salt's gonna be visible inside that bait because there's no colorant in there. All right, so as you can see, I like to write top on the top side of my mold so I know which side of the mold I need my top color to go when you're doing laminates. Just stir everything up, make sure that salt is all suspended evenly. So what we're gonna do now is take that dual injector, suck everything up. Make sure we have a good flow. We do. And I'm going to come over to my mold. Even pressure down. I'm going to hold that pressure. I'm going to go ahead and top everything off. Come over to the next one. Even pressure down. Top everything off. And then we will check everything out as soon as it cools down. All right, so let's open up our molds, check out our baits. Again, guys, this is called the Method Minnow. And these turned out really good. Hopefully that laminate's coming through. It didn't laminate perfectly, but I think a lot of that's due to how translucent everything is. That one turned out pretty good. That one looks good. Hopefully it's coming through on camera, but you can see that different color separation between the two baits. Might have been a little bit too hot because you're starting to get some of that gold up into the top side, but these turned out good. Gonna open up the other side. Check these guys out. These ones turned out really good as well. Hopefully you can see that coming through on camera. You got the blue on the top, very translucent on the bottom. And this is what I'm going for, clear watercolor, a little bit of chartreuse in there, nice little blue, nice natural look. These things will catch them. So I'm really happy with how these have turned out so far. I think I nailed what I was going for. One thing you got to be really careful about when you're doing colors like this is to not overheat when you're heating in between pores, when you're letting everything cool down and your plastisol cools down. You want to make sure that you don't overdo it because you can darken up your colors and kind of ruin everything. So you have to be very careful to not do that. We got good flow coming out. Go over to our mold. Even pressure down. Hold that pressure. You don't need a ton of pressure with this mold, which is nice. Top off that sprue. Get all that extra off. Come over to our next one. Even pressure down again. Gonna hold that pressure. Top off everything. All right, time to check out our baits. We'll open up this mold first. Check everything out. Looks like we have a decent laminate. Let's pull this guy. And on this side, you can definitely see that laminate coming through. You got the blue on the bottom right there, and then the color change on the top side. It's just upside down. It's the right way. We'll check another one of these guys out. Yep, and then that one turned out really good. So the blue's up on top, clear on the bottom. Then we'll check our second mold here. I think this one did a little bit better. So yeah, you can see that blue right there on the top. Nice color change on the bottom. And then same thing right here. The blue bled down a little bit, but it's still pretty good laminate. And then the ones on these sides did really good. So there's your laminate right there with that one. Pretty happy with these overall. Here's the inside of this mold. If you look at this mold, it's probably not gonna show up on camera. One side is much shallower than the other side. So the side that I'm featuring on camera right now is the much deeper side. And this has a lot more plastisol that's gonna go down to the bottom side of this bait or the bottom side of this mold. And then this shallower top side is kind of interesting because a lot of these molds that you get, a lot of times they're evenly distributed one side and the other. This mold though makes a really good laminate. I've played around with a couple different colors and the laminates turn out really good. It pours super well. I'm really happy with this one. I think this one's gonna be a really good bait to do a lot of different things with. This is a little bait. It's 3.2 inches, but it's perfect to mimic those smaller sized bait fish, whether it's a small bluegill, small shad, small perch, doesn't really matter. The color that you're gonna pour these in is what's gonna do the work for you to imitate those specific types of forage. So here you have it, guys. This is the brand new Method Minnow. Let me spin it around for you, get the other side of this bait. Makes a great laminate, and these little sexy shad Method minnows are gonna catch some fish here at home. We got a lot of tiny bait fish here at home, and I think this thing is gonna mimic that bait fish perfectly. You're gonna be able to fish this multiple ways. Nose hook it on a drop shot, put it on a tungsten ball jig, and target those suspended fish on forward-facing sonar. Keel this thing right, and you're gonna be able to fish it like a soft plastic jerkbait as well. Maybe for schooling fish. I think that there's a lot of different ways you're gonna be able to fish this thing. Guys, don't forget about that affiliate link that I have down in the description of today's video. If you wanna go and pick up this mold, click that link, head over to the website, and they'll know that I sent you over there and I can get credit for any sales. And if you guys wanna see the full lineup of new baits that Do It came out with this year, click on the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.